Welcome to this virtual consult video. In this video, we are going to talk about our DJ service, specifically our DJ Dave package. We're going to talk about the package and what it includes with the service, as well as the planning that you'll be putting in to communicate the details to DJ Dave. So we're going to jump right into this. I'm going to switch the screen around. We're on our website. In terms of navigation, simply if you hover over weddings, go to DJ, then click on DJ Dave, we end up here. So I'm going to scroll down to the actual DJ Dave package. We're going to go first through what the actual package itself includes. So it's a 5-hour service package. The reason it's 5 hours, most venues that you book for a certain amount of time usually are 5-hour bookings. Now we know there's the exceptions where there's the barns and things like that it's yours for the day, but most ballrooms and banquet facilities that you rent are usually for a 5-hour period, so the DJ time is set to match that. If you need to extend later on, you can certainly do that later on. Setup time. We just point out that the setup time obviously is included. DJ Dave will show up early to be ready to set up. This is 5 hours of service plus setup time. It seems obvious, but we bring it up only because, as silly as it is, there are some DJs in our area where they count the setup time as part of the hours of service. It's silly. They shouldn't be doing that, but they do, so we just point out that obviously the setup time is on top of the service hours as well as teardown time at the end. Standard dance floor lighting. Some DJs do charge extra for lighting or have basic packages that don't include lighting. So with DJ Dave, the dance floor lighting is included. Wireless microphone. DJ Dave does have a wireless microphone, not only for his announcements, but as well as to allow the toasts to be done from the head table and the dinner blessing, if there's going to be one, from either near the head table or wherever that person happens to be located in the room. The planning materials, which we'll actually be getting to separately to go over the planning, and the week of phone call. So basically, the structure is that there would be the booking, then the planning process, which we're going to go through the planning form, and then the week of the week of the wedding is when DJ Day specifically would be on the phone with you to finalize all of the plans and details for the wedding date. Moving on. Add-ons would be if you need to extend the time. So if you needed 5.5 hours or 6 hours, you can extend the service time. I'd like to take a quick second and explain this additional setup time. This is if there's some kind of logistical reason where the DJ, in this case DJ Dave, has to be set up earlier or set up in a situation where he has to be set up before his service time actually begins. So a simple way to kind of explain that would be, let's just use the example where you have DJ Dave, let's say, DJing in a room from 5 to 10, but in that same room, the ceremony is taking place, and guests are going to be, again, arriving at 4 o'clock. Let's say in this example, DJ Dave is not necessarily providing sound for the ceremony. He's not paid to handle the ceremony. He's not starting till 5 o'clock, but the guests are entering that room at 4 o'clock. So it's not like from 4 to 5, Dave can be setting up and doing sound checks, because in this situation, 4 o'clock guests are arriving, 4:30, there's probably the actual ceremony going underway. So in that situation, Dave would actually have to be set up at 4. Even though he doesn't start till 5, that situation says he needs to be set up and ready to go at 4, even though he's not starting till 5. So that's a logistical situation where we have to charge extra just to ensure that the DJ is being paid a setup fee to be set up earlier than they're actually being paid to start and perform. We also offer add-ons such as uplighting if you need music in a separate room. So if your cocktail is going to be in one room and the reception in another, and you want DJ Dave to provide a secondary system for the cocktail space, we do monogram, we do projection and screen rentals, as well as ceremony sound. Ceremony sound will have its own separate virtual consult video that'll be straight and to the point, so I will leave that for that video. So this is the DJ Dave package, and we're going to hop over to DJ Dave's planning form. So now, as a client, after booking with us, you would get access to the back end. You would have a login where you'd log in, and DJ Dave's planning form is there waiting for you. And this is it here. So I'll go through this with you. The first part here is contact information. This is the simple stuff. This is your wedding date, bride's name, groom's name, emails, phone numbers, and if for any reason Dave can't get in touch with you, if there's another, an alternate contact phone number or something like that. The venue information, this is the information about the venue, the name of the reception venue, the address, zip code, things like that. If you have a particular person that you're working directly with at the venue who may be a coordinator or something, this is helpful to pass along to DJ Dave. So if he has a question where he needs to contact the venue, he can contact them if a question arises that we need the venue to answer. We do ask what room will the DJ be in. That's just because some venues, some ballrooms have multiple ballrooms. So, of course, we wouldn't want Dave to go in and start setting up in the wrong room and then realize he's in the wrong ballroom and set up. So some venues have multiple ballrooms, multiple weddings going on, so we need to ask that question. Now, will there be a table for the DJ? Our expectation is that there is a table for the DJ. We expect that when our DJs arrive at a venue, that there's a table for the DJ. This is the case 99.99999% of the time. Most established venues have a table ready for the DJ, but once in a blue moon, there's either some brand new venues or just for other reasons, they don't provide a table for the DJ. So we just want you to check with your venue to make sure that there's a table for the DJ, because we don't want the DJ to show up and there's not a table for them to actually set up their equipment on. So that's kind of like a question that we throw in there just to be a catch to make sure that you're contacting venue and just making sure that there will be a table for the DJ. Number of service hours you contracted the DJ for. So if you just booked the package, of course, it's going to be a 5-hour package. When you booked, if you knew initially up front and you told us we need 6 hours and you booked 6 hours or 5.5 hours, you'd enter that. This is where you're going to put the service start time. So if you need DJ Dave to start at 4 o'clock and you need him to DJ until 10 o'clock, but you booked 5 hours, well, now you can see you booked 5 and, I need 6. So I need to contact FineLine and make sure I added on an extra hour for DJ Dave. And that's pretty simple. We do have a question here. What time are your guests entering? The service time can't start after the guests. So if you're saying I need DJ Dave to start at 4 o'clock, but guests are going to enter that room at 3 o'clock, there's an issue, because the DJ should have up until the service start time to be setting up, doing sound checks and such. So this is kind of a question we bring up, so that if you see that based on your logistics, maybe you have something logistically different with your day. If the guests are entering that room before the DJ service start time, contact us so I can go over that with you. And then we have a question: is DJ Dave going to be doing? Do you need him to do cocktail music in a separate room? Yes or no? If yes, then of course, did you add that on? And if not, give us a call. Not a big deal, but if you need it and you didn't initially contract it, get in touch with us so we can add that on for you. And then here's some additional notes. This is for you if there's any additional notes you want to throw in there about the venue or the setup or anything. Confirming details. So this section just goes over what parts of the evening you will be going over and finalizing with Dave on the phone, in addition to the content that you're plugging in here. So the event timeline, the flow of the evening, that's when you speak with Dave on the phone. He's going to help you finalize and structure the flow of the evening. In terms of dance music, that's when you'll have the opportunity to speak to him directly about, hey, here's the songs that we absolutely want played. Here's the songs we absolutely don't want played. And then he will go over cocktail and dinner options for you as well. Again, we always bring up, this is 2 hours. If you have an hour of cocktail and an hour of dinner, there's 2 hours of your evening. We don't want you worrying about 2 hours worth of music. We try to make that very easy for you. So he'll ask a few questions and make sure he's playing the appropriate cocktail and dinner music for you. This section here, introductions, this is basically where you're going to be entering the names of everybody that's getting introduced, from grandparents, the parents, flower girls, ring bearers if you have them, the bridal party. Group 1 would be the first couple, the group 2 the second couple, so this would be the groomsman so-and-so with bridesmaid so-and-so, groomsman so-and-so with bridesmaid so-and-so. Your maid of honor and best man names. When it comes to the maid of honor, we do ask if it's maid or matron. That way we give her the correct title. You guys as bride and groom are going to enter your names exactly how you want to be introduced. So if that's Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. and Mrs. John Smith, Mr. and Mrs. John and Becky Smith, however you want that to go. And then, of course, whatever music that you want for the introductions. You'll enter that there as well. Now I'm going to come back to the top here because I bypassed this for a reason so I could spend a few extra seconds on it. Would you like to acknowledge any grandparents at their table prior to the bridal party intro? Yes or no? So by default, the way we typically run and organize introductions, we allow the grandparents to remain seated. So the people we're actually lining up would be the parents, the flower girl and ring bearer if you have those, and then of course the bridal party and the bride and groom. Not bride and gloom, bride and groom. We usually leave the grandparents seated at their tables, and then I'll explain how we go about it and then why. So basically, it would be something to affect, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to introduce our bridal party, but before we do so, we have some very special guests already here in the room with us, our grandparents of the bride, Sally and Jim Smith. So that's how we typically prefer to handle the grandparents. The reason we don't necessarily line them up by default, we have a lot of grandparents who are older, up in age, don't walk well, and it's usually just not the best idea to parade the older grandparents through the room with the music and the lights going and things like that. Now, if you definitely want that done, then you would click no and then let the DJ know, no, I want the grandparents to be lined up. And all these years of doing this, we've had I think once. So it's not common. We've done it once in all these years that I can recall where the grandparents actually did get lined up and introduced with the music and everything with the rest of the bridal party. Any other introduction notes you want to communicate to DJ Dave, plug that in there. Then we get into the speeches. I always say about 1 out of every 5 or 6 weddings that we do, or the receptions, somebody likes to give a welcome. A lot of times, if there's a welcome, it's generally like the father of the bride, who may stand up and welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. I hope everybody has a good time tonight. Please eat up, have fun, dance, and everybody make it home safe. Something to that effect. If no one's doing a welcome, you click no. If yes, all right, and then type in, let us know who's giving that welcome. The toast, that's pretty common, so you're going to probably be clicking yes, and then let us know who is giving toast. And then if there's going to be a dinner blessing, go ahead, check yes, let us know who's doing that. It's not uncommon that at the time of filling out the planning form, couples don't know who's doing the dinner blessing. Now, sometimes we get that late in the game, but if you don't know at the time, you go ahead and just type in unknown, at this time, something to that effect. Any other speech notes, you can type that in there for Dave. We do have a reminder in our planning forms that as per our contract, our vendors do get a meal. So just a reminder that there would be a meal for Dave. You can go to the contract to reread up on that real quick. It doesn't necessarily have to be what the guests are eating. It can be a vendor meal, but just as long as something is provided. These would be your standard events. So if you're doing a first dance, which I assume you are, this is where you'll say, yes, we're doing a first dance, and here's the song we want for that event. Yes, we're doing a father-daughter dance, and here's the song we want. Yes, we're doing a mother song, here's the song we want. No, we're not doing a bridal party dance. Yes, we're doing a cake cutting. We do want you to choose the songs for the formal dances, which would be the first dance and parent dances. Things like the cake cutting, anniversary dance. If you're not sure what song, you could just say DJ Dave can choose for us, something like that, and he'll take care of it. Real quick, the anniversary dance, not everybody knows what that is. That's just, you've probably seen it, but that's that song where you get all the married couples on the dance floor. Dave plays a nice slow song, and then he goes through the years saying if you've been married 5 years or less, leave the dance floor. If you've been married 10 years or less, please leave the dance floor, and you keep going in increments until you find the oldest couple, or the couple that's been married the longest, I should say. That's what the anniversary dance is. And then, of course, the bouquet, garter toss, and then whether or not you're doing the dollar dance, and then Dave will go over that music with you on the telephone as well. If there's any notes here you want about the events, or if there's any additional events that you're doing, let him know. If you've added on uplighting, this is where you would say, I want pink uplighting, and then any other notes you have for DJ Dave, that's where you would type that in there. And then, of course, this is the information that you'd be going over with him the week of the wedding when he gives you that phone call. One last thing I'm going to go over real quick. On the back end, once you become a FineLine client, we do have a client planning area with some helpful information. In terms of the DJ side of things, there's information about what ceremony music we play by default, unless you want to change that. So if you don't want it to worry about that if you're doing ceremony sound, but I'll save that for the ceremony sound video. So moving along, if you've added on a monogram, this is where you come and click this, and this has the instructions on where to order the monogram, design online, and what size to get. We have this neat little database. I'll go ahead and open this up. So this is a database. So as you are trying to think of different things like, oh, what cake cutting songs are good? You can click cake cutting, and this is DJ Intelligence. This is a database that compiles, and it's going to show you the top 50 most requested cake cutting songs right now. So right now, these are the top 50 most requested songs for cake cutting. Father-daughter dance, if you're trying to figure out some different ideas. Here are the top 50 most requested father-daughter dance songs. So all the different events, some different dance songs and things like that. Suggestions on planning your timeline. That's where you can make some notes. You can read some different things. But again, Dave's going to be helping you with that anyways. So in a nutshell, here is the DJ Dave service package. Add-ons. We went over the planning form and some of the back-end information we have available to you for planning your event. So that is that. That is the DJ Dave virtual console. I'll let you go with that. Thanks for sticking around and tuning in here with me. And if you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me.